Welcome to the first video on this new channel of mine. Today I'm going to be showing you the 4-4-2 custom tactics and play instructions. Like I said, brand new channel as you can see. First video, this is Sebstar Plus. It's my second channel to my main channel, which is just Sebstar. I'll put a link to that in the description. On that channel I just do FIFA videos as well, pretty much more fun FIFA videos, playing games, stuff like that. This channel is mainly going to be tips and tricks, custom tactics, score battle glitches, all that kind of stuff, but I don't want to waste any more of your time, so let's get straight into the tactics. I've chosen the 4-4-2 today because it's sort of the default formation you start with when you get the game. Most players when you first get the game start with this, and it's still a really good balanced formation, probably the best balanced formation in the game itself, which is why I'm showing you this with the balanced tactics and the balanced instructions. So pretty much very good formation to use is a pro player custom tactics and instructions. That's very important because they do work really well, but I've sort of modified them slightly, so you're not going to be sometimes using pro player custom tactics and instructions is just a bit too hard for most people. Doesn't really fit most people's play styles, so they're slightly changed, but they do work really well. These are my go-to custom tactics for the 4-4-2, and they are very good. So let's get straight into them. You can see them here. We've got pressure on heavy touch because I think it's better than using a press after possession loss, which drains too much energy. It was very good in FIFA 21, but it doesn't seem as good this year. It just drains a lot of energy and really draws your players out of position as well if you don't win the ball back within those 7 seconds. So I go with pressure on heavy touch. It's pretty much just like playing unbalanced. As long as they take a heavy touch, which they do more frequently this year, heavy touches are more likely. So when you do this, as soon as they take a heavy touch, you're pretty much just closing them down very quickly and we're going to win the ball back quickly. Width, I recommend using 50 and depth on 60. If you go with 70 and above, you get the automatic offside trap, but on this formation it's really not necessary. I recommend just sticking on 60, works well with 50 width, nice and balanced. Build up play, I recommend using long ball. As you can see from the shape of the formation, it's quite a sort of default formation shape. There's not really much midfield. It's got 2 midfielders, 2 strikers and a left mid and a right mid. So passing it around the midfield really doesn't work too well. There's not enough players to get the ball to. There's not really much triangles you can find, and definitely not a diamond shape either. So long ball works well to get the ball to those attacking players, your strikers and your wide players. And the chance creation, I recommend using it on balance to give you more options. I have used direct passing. It works sometimes, but sometimes it just sort of gives the ball away too easily, and it just doesn't really work too well. You sort of rush to find a pass too quickly, and you want more time on the ball, and you want more possession, because possession, as long as you have possession, you're not going to concede, are you? So balance is good. Wait for the perfect opportunity, then just rushing it and losing the ball. Width, I recommend keeping it nice and balanced, about 60, so it's slightly wider than default, but still not too wide that your players are going to be too far out. Because on this formation, you don't really want your left mid and right mid being right up against the touchline. With wingers, you want them to be quite wide, but with left mid and right mid, you want them to be slightly narrow as they are slightly more defensive. Players in box 6 works well to push more players forward, but not too many players forward that you're going to be open on the counter attack. Corners on 2 and free kicks on 2. Anything you want to change as well yourself, go ahead and change it. This is fine. This is what I recommend using because it works well for me. So both your strikers, I recommend stay central, stay still in the centre of the pitch in line with the goal, not drifting out too wide, getting behind and making forward runs behind the opposition defenders, and I recommend leaving basic defensive support. Sometimes I say use stay forward, but in this formation there's no cam sitting just behind helping out. You've got a big gap to the midfield, and you sometimes do want those strikers coming back on defence. Not all the time, it will only do it sometimes when it's needed, but it can be helpful when it happens. 2 centre mids, for these I recommend a balanced attack, so they're sort of doing a mixture of defending and going forward. Stay on edge of box or cross. Overloading the box works really well, but you still need players on the edge of the box to pass the ball round, and also so you're not going to be counter-attacked too quickly. Normal interceptions, stick to position and make sure you have cover centre on. You've only got 2 centre mids, you can't afford to be letting them drift out wide, so make sure you're using cover at centre. For your left mid and your right mid, basic defensive support, balanced width, cut inside can work well as well, but you don't. It sort of makes the formation too narrow if you use cut inside, especially on this one, and you really want to use those wide players well, get crosses in rather than cutting inside, which you sort of better to do with wingers. So I recommend balanced support, getting behind like the strikers, getting the box across to be overloading the box, and that is it for your left mid and right mid, both the exact same. Overloading the box is such an important thing to do this FIFA, so I do recommend trying to do that when you can. 2 centre backs, leave default. Never really change your centre backs, it messes stuff up, it's not worth it. For your fullbacks, I recommend using stay back while attacking. This because you've already got wide players up front. You don't want your fullbacks pushing up too much as well. You'll be too open on the defence, and it's just more likely you concede. So I recommend stay back while attacking, whilst you have attacking wingers or left mids and right mids. Interceptions, normal. Run type, you do want overlaps. They are overlapping when they are going forwards, which sometimes they still do anyway. And defensive position on stick to position, just adjust default. And lastly, for your goalkeeper, comes across it and sweeper keeper. Make sure you have comes across it on. So many people skip goalkeeper instructions but it's really important to use it. It makes such a big difference. You're going to realise how many less goals you concede when using comes to crosses. It honestly does make a big difference. But that's pretty much everything for this video. That's the first video on this channel, so it'd be greatly appreciated if you could help me out by just liking the video, subscribing, just doing anything just to help me out before I get started. Maybe even just checking out my main channel, which is just called Sebstar. You can just search it up, and I'll try and put a link in the description as well if I remember. So I'll do that. So that's the 4-4-2 balanced starter custom tactics and instructions. They work very well currently. I think they are slightly better post patch because stuff has changed, but that's the 4-4-2 formation. Let me know in the comments any feedback you have, any suggestions you have for any type of videos, custom tactics, glitches, any tips or tricks you want to see in FIFA. Let me know and I'll try and get them done as quickly as I can. So thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll see you again soon, and goodbye.